Welcome to the BXG podcast, a BXG production. I am one of your hosts, the Alpha Donut Guy, Bretton Beswick, alongside my co-host, Gregory T. Filson, and the T is for tie-dye, it looks like.
That's right.
Today. Greg, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Tired, but it's just that time where, near the end of the week. So just a little tired, but that's okay. Other than that, doing fine, Brendan. How are you?
I'm not bad. It's just one of those weeks, one of those days, and we'll get through. Here,
Right.
it looks like you got some kind of a stout going there.
Not stout. It's not stout. It's just an IPA, just in a brown bottle. So
I don't know what the difference between an IPA and a stout is.
okay.
The bottle looked like a burly boy, so I just
Yeah.
figured it was more stout than its cousins.
No, just a hoppy beer.
It's not Easter.
I'm not going to get into it.
What are you not going to get it? What are you not going to get into?
You brew beer with hops, and this is just brewed with a lot more hops than like your standard format beer. So it's a little more bitter.
Oh, like me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily call you bitter though. Bitter's more of like a vengeful thing. You're more of I'm trying to think of what kind of beer to describe you as.
Which
Like
beer
a
doesn't
barley wine.
which
You're more
beer
of like
doesn't emote?
Doesn't emote, so like a Miller Lite.
I guess. Yeah. Just whichever beer doesn't emote.
I would say no emotion from a Miller Lite.
Yeah. You look tired.
Yeah, you know what? That was one of those things where I hadn't eaten all day because I was just busy, and then we had like
Mm,
fast food, good
mm,
fast food, but like fast food, the
yeah.
habit, and it like gave me that rush, and now I'm kind of coming down from it, and it was just kind of a tiring day at school, so combination. But I'm okay. I'll be all
Um, just real quick, I just want to make a statement about BXG Productions. And I just wanted to we do not support any anti-Semitic remarks. We do not support any intolerance towards those things, but I mean, come on, Greg, there's a lot more problems than Sri Lanka to worry about. I mean, we have to end the war in Ukraine for one,
right. Yeah.
slow down the nuclear arms race, stop terrorism and world hunger. We have to provide food and shelter for the homeless and oppose racial discrimination and promote civil rights while also promoting equal rights for women. We have to encourage a return to traditional moral values. Most importantly, we have to promote a general social concern and less materialism in young people.
Do you like your jobs in mergers and acquisitions?
Yeah.
Most guys that I know who work with mergers and acquisitions hate their job.
You're very pretty, aren't you?
This is
there's gonna
based off of
be
that.
there's gonna be some people who are just like, what is happening right now?
Well, yeah. This is honestly full truth on this. I had that entire thing memorized.
Yeah.
For going out to the bar back in the day. I don't have it anymore memorized, but I had that entire Patrick Bateman speech memorized. Anytime somebody brought up something that was like a little like whatever, and then I'd just jump in and just say it, and people were like, as before American Psycho was actually like the cult classic that
Right.
it kind of is
Right. Right.
now. So
Right. Yeah.
nobody knew what I was doing. They're like thinking full serious.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's true though. It's still all true. Still all true.
Well, we don't have to end apartheid anymore. That's really the only. That's really the only thing that's
Well,
not.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, there's you know far bigger issues than Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
Um, no, but how about Kanye West, man?
That's crazy,
He's all
man.
over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you could not have seen any of that coming. It's just a side note. As weird as he was, to go that far
Yeah.
off the deep end was um, pretty pretty shocking, and
You know
it's
what though?
probably it's probably it.
uh, Dallas, our friend Dallas, friend of the program, made a point that if you call somebody crazy enough, they're going to start believing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that at the very least, I think that was the tenor of the statement. But yeah, I'd like to be a fly on the wall just in his brain sometimes. Because it's probably like traveling through some type of, and this is like one of those things like judge the art, not the artist. It's probably like traveling through like the Louvre in terms of art, but
Mhm.
meanwhile, at the same time, the burning puppets from Willy Wonka's puppet show is just happening the whole time behind. Like where they're just
Sure.
faces
Yeah,
are melting and going, Willy Wonka, Willy Wonka. It's just
yeah.
that. It's just like that all the time.
That sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I would say it's just as people are like throwing oil on paintings in like museums because of oil production,
Right.
and they're like that kind of thing, or gluing themselves, not realizing that it's like those paintings are covered and protected.
Right.
That's kind of what I think it looks like too. So
Do you think the coolest protest ever was the woman gluing her hand to the court during the Minnesota Timberwolves playoff game?
that was pretty funny.
Might
I
have been
give
the
that a
best.
good grade.
Yeah, top shelf. Just glued her
Yeah,
hand to the court. And
yeah,
then another woman at a Timberwolves game tried to come out of the crowd, and the security guard was eyeing her the whole time and just like train wrecked her.
yeah.
You
It's
can find
good.
that on YouTube.
You can. It's funny.
But anyway, all that tomfoolery aside, um, TV shows.
TV shows.
We have a few of them to talk about. It's getting to that time though where we're going to be we're dropping another series this week. The House of the Dragon season finale, and then next week all we'll have moving forward for a little bit is Andor and Chainsaw Man.
That's right.
And you know what that means? It's movie time.
Movie time.
So we'll be maybe doing some more movies, stuff like that. Um, House of the Dragon to start.
House of the
Sound
Dragon.
good. This episode showed Rhaenyra and Damon formulate their response to Allison lying and saying that the king chose her. Somehow we missed talking about the foot fetish scene last
Right.
episode. And so I do kind of want to double back to that, but showing their response, and Lord Valerian comes back, offers his support. The kids get sent as envoys to her hopeful bannermen, and things kind of conclude with her son Jace on his wee little dragon, and then Aemon, the pirate, on his Godzilla dragon, and taking a bite out of crime like Scruff McGruff. And one of the most baller things I've ever seen in the history of television, when Rhaenyra palmed her stillborn baby's head like Shaquille O'Neal palming a basketball and just pulled it out of her. That
Yeah, that
was
was crazy.
so wild. Wild
Yeah.
times. Wild times. So before we get into this episode, though, foot fetish scene from the previous episode.
So I'm not a foot person by any means. It's weird.
Nor should you be.
Freaks me out. And so that scene, I think maybe we forgot about because I like intentionally tried to like get it out of my brain.
Sure.
So for me, it was just like I thought I was watching like Quentin Tarantino direct something. So it was just like that. I think it was really that because you brought it up, and I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, saw your text, I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, oh,
Yeah.
right, that scene. No, okay. So I think that was my big thing was I just didn't. No, it was a no for me, dog.
Yeah, no for you. Yeah, no for me as well. It was just like, oh man, so weird, so weird,
So weird.
and that happened though, and it was, we've both been exposed to some gnarly feet in our lives. One of our friends has.
Yeah.
They look like James Caan in Misery after they get smashed up with the sledgehammer, but they were just born that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, what did you think of the season finale?
I thought
The finale.
it was good. I thought it was a little less dramatic than I necessarily wanted to be. I mean, the baby scene, that was like crazy. Like, I was like, what a way to start. I was like, holy, just that when, like you said, when she palmed it and just was like, huh, that was
That's
crazy.
not how that's supposed to happen. I can tell you that.
And then I like when they got the fire map going. I don't know what else to call it. That sweet fire map. I was like, and they're just doing all that planning. It reminded me of like I'm watching like I don't know like Aaron Sorkin or a David Fincher movie where it's just like they're just talking about everything and things are moving. And then I thought there was gonna be more to the ending, and then it was just dragon v dragon. And I've said this before. I'm not like a big dragon person, and I think a lot of times when dragons are brought into anything, and I know this show is called House of the Dragon, but it really doesn't need dragons. And so when the dragons got brought into it, it kind of like made me angry because the dialogue was so good, all this planning was so good, and it was just like dragon through storm, okay, and then a single tear to end the episode. And I thought it was kind of like anticlimactic, and I understand there's gonna be more of the show. It wasn't like it was a serious finale or anything. So you got to take it for what it's worth. But I definitely thought there would be more to it, I guess. And it felt like all this build up for like kind of a nothing. For me, a nothing final 10 minutes. I thought maybe like groups of people going at it, things like that. Something a little more exciting than the dragon thing, which I just wasn't super in on. Like I understand the importance of it. It just wasn't like as exciting as I wanted it to be. But I thought the whole rest of the episode was awesome. Like the planning, all that stuff was super cool.
I agree, and there's been a lot of like fervor online that this is pulled from a book, The Dance of the Dragons, which was written by George R. R. Martin, not the one that he should have been writing or reading. This is not from the book how this started, and a lot of people are saying that they made a mistake by starting the Civil War basically via an accident, where he wasn't trying to he wasn't trying to kill the other Aemon wasn't trying to kill the prince via having his Megazord dragon take a chomp out of the little one with the little prince on it. And so there's been a lot like online through like
Nifty
IGN
Prince.
and stuff like that, but I don't know. I hear what you're saying about it being kind of a dull ending or like an anticlimactic ending. I'm kind of, I think I'm slightly inclined to disagree with you just in the fact that this season put all the chess pieces on the board. And I don't think that they're one side putting the other into check in the final episode of this season would have felt earned. And so the way this season has been, and even the producers acknowledge that it was slow at times and there was a lot of build up at times and it wasn't as action heavy, but they have discussed already about season 2 will be more there will be more blood, there will be more grisliness basically. And I think that I
Will
do
there be
think that
milkshakes?
if you have a straw, I think that I I I think it capped it off in a way that leaves you wanting more, and I do think that that is what you want out of a season 1 of a show like this. And I'm
Sure. Oh
very
yeah.
interested to see where they pick up when it gets to season 2. Is there going to be some type of a small time jump, or is it going to be this happened and we're right into the weeds of how we're going to react to this? So the episode as a whole doesn't really feel like a season finale per se, I guess,
Right.
because
Yeah.
it just leaves you wanting more. And I think that the episode as a whole, like you said, the um the fire map, very cool. I think Lord Valerion coming basically back from the dead and pledging his side to Rhaenyra is a big deal. And just seeing like the interactions and how some people had their loyalties, and Sir Otto confronts them on the bridge again, and it very nearly turned violent. But seeing the steady hand of Rhaenyra has how she leads her house is really interesting, like especially juxtaposed with Cersei Lannister in the original series, and how she was just a manipulative, conniving bitch. And Rainier is more understanding of, I have to protect the realm by not plunging it into war. And
Yeah.
if we bring dragons to a sword fight, then the whole thing's gonna burn. So
Right.
it's interesting to see, and I'm curious to see how things will escalate in the next season. But yeah, what did you think of? I mean, do you have anything to add about this particular episode?
No, I would say the only thing I would know if it's adding, I would say the thing that probably made it not as interesting to me is that a good television technique though is leaving you wanting more. Like I said, it's like I wanted that to be a fight, and it's like obviously it's building towards it. So when it
Sure.
ended, I was just like, oh, I wish there was a fight. So they did the correct thing to do in making television. It's just not what I necessarily wanted.
Yeah,
So
sure.
yeah.
Sure. What did you think of season 1 as a whole?
I thought it was actually better than I thought. I thought this is the biggest thing. I was like, I thought I was kind of over it. Honestly, with Game of Thrones, like those last few seasons weren't good, and all that crap. And I was like, do I really need this? And then it brought me back in. I will 100% say it brought me back in, even though it's like we know what happens. We also watched another show where we knew what happened, and they didn't know what they were doing. And this show did a much better job of like making you care. And so I thought they really executed well. And I think as long as they can keep that path going, I don't see why that would stop with this.
Yeah, it's just avoiding kind of the same mistakes as the original series, which is difficult because you're working from similar source material. But even like several of the actors recently, I don't know what the like why people were putting a microphone in these particular people's face, but like Maisie Williams came out, who played Arya Stark, came out and said that it really tailed off towards the end and things like that. And I think everybody knows that like the last 2 seasons were pretty much not like no bueno.
Right.
I think the lesson to be learned there is proper pacing.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how, these are different producers, but I'm curious to see how well they learned that lesson and are able to apply it to their own story in this universe. I was not excited for this all. I mean, we did trailer reactions and we made fun of it. You know, we made fun
Yeah.
of it. It
Right.
was, you know, who wants this? Who's asking for this? Why aren't we done with Game of Thrones? This is fan fiction and all this stuff. And then from the jump, it's been high quality. There's been some slow moments. There was, you know, the fourth episode was very weird and very incestual and things of that nature. But overall, I was very, very pleased, pleasantly surprised regarding the first season. And I'm very much looking forward to the second season. I for me personally, it can't come quick enough as opposed to another show that we just wrapped up last week, which the second season, if it never came, that would still be too quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, wait, hasn't come yet. Because we'd be nervous that it would drop at some point. That would be the fear.
Yeah. Yeah. So any closing thoughts on?
No, I think I agree with you. Like, I'm excited for what's to come. I am shocked that I'm excited. 10 weeks ago
Yeah.
when this started, if you would have told me I would walk away like wanting to see season 2,
Mhm.
I've been like, no, there's no chance. I honestly think that 10 weeks ago, if you would have asked me which show I think I probably would have liked better, I bet I would have said The Rings of Power. I honestly think that without having watched either or whatever it was 10 weeks ago, 11 weeks ago, I honestly, and that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that either show would have been like good. I'm just saying maybe because I just think I would have probably, the Lord of the Rings left a better taste in my mouth than the way Game of Thrones ended.
Sure.
So I think that's probably it.
Well, and the other thing I would add to that, I guess just to agree with you, because initially I would have said, no, that's not the case. But when we did the trailer reactions, we did the House of Dragon and we did the Lord of the Rings, we were much higher on Lord of the Rings than we were on
Plus, they
House of the
spent,
Dragons.
$500 million on it. So
Yeah.
you would expect it to be better.
Yeah, they sure did, didn't they? They sure did. So that kind of puts a pin in it.
Yeah.
For House of the Dragon. And we will move along. Andor, which is a Star Wars show. Right?
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
It is.
Andor this week, kind of a slower episode, a little bit more plot building. Cassian Andor himself is shipped off to a prison planet where he is put to work by I did not know Andy Serkis was in this, and it was delightful.
No.
Because I think that Andy Serkis is one of like,
I'm just a tourist.
Right. But I think Andy Serkis is just one of the most underrated or like hidden gems that Hollywood has. I love Andy Serkis.
Oh yeah.
And so to see him pop up in this and then be kind of like a dickhead was like pretty cool.
Yeah.
But he's serving out his time on this assembly line. I wish I know what they were building. That would make it more fun. Like if they were constructing like TIE fighter wings or shit. I wish I knew for sure. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, the Empire's coming down harder and harder, trying to track this individual. They have an idea. He's the person who stole this component. And so Lieutenant Miro is questioning some of the other characters. She's questioning Cyril Khan, who keeps trying to clear his name. She's at the end, she's seen kind of questioning, or she's about to be questioning Bix. And unbeknownst to him, because he's in this prison and has a, false identity, but the walls are kind of closing in on him. Meanwhile, Luthen is meeting up with Saw Gerrera, who we know in this sphere mostly from Rogue One, but also a very important character in the Clone Wars animated series, and trying to unite all the various disparate parts of the rebellion under one kind of common cause. And so a lot of this is happening. The other characters who he was involved with the heist are kind of keeping an eye on home. His mom seems like she's losing it, which we kind of predicted. I mean, we predicted that the Empire would kill her in one way or another. I still think that that's in play, especially because he thinks that she's part of the rebellion and she's going to do something dumb and get capped, basically. But yeah, I mean, like I said, a little bit of a slower episode. What did you think about this?
I think I'm just in on this whole show, and so even when it's a slower episode, since we know what they can do when they build off of it with that amazing heist episode, which just best television episode I've seen in a while. I mean, the only show I really can compare it to in like best TV show that I've seen is like a Succession episode or something. I mean, it's like that good a quality episode. And so, like, when it comes down to a slower episode, a building episode, I feel more okay with it than other shows that we've watched, because it's like, oh, well, I know what you can do at your best. So when you're giving me this kind of thing, I just thought, I thought the whole prison thing was sort of interesting. I really think that Diego Luna is just like kind of killing it acting. I mean, he's just kind of going next level, doing acting that isn't necessary for these kind of shows or or movies even. Yeah. He's going to go above and beyond what is needed. And then I do actually love how you said back at the ranch, because I kind of thought that when I was watching it. I was like, it'd be so funny if it was like a silent movie and it like did the things like back at the ranch and then they're like talking and just kind of putting this like whatever the music behind it, because it is sort of comical like that, where like they kind of know, we think they know, but they're still not sure who it is. And so that build up seems, and this is going to be 12 episodes. So I think this show is building in a different way than like other shows, because number one, we don't know if there's going to be a second season, correct? And I don't think we do. And so like this last episode could really be just about anything, which is super exciting for me.
No, there will be a second season.
Oh, there will be. Okay.
Yeah,
if we knew, or so many shows.
It's scheduled to begin filming in November of this year, so right around the corner.
Okay, right
the production is likely to last until August, so this will probably be, once this concludes, this is going to be the last we see of the show for probably over a year.
So I feel like, even knowing that, I feel like same thing for me though. It's like it'll be such a long period of time that I feel like this is just building for like a very climactic, if not a climatic ending, a climactic penultimate episode, like very, like whether it's heisty-ish or not even, because I think this whole idea of the show is more of a heist than it is super actiony, because it's not lightsabers and ships flying around all the time and all that stuff. So that's how I look at it now. I think they're really good at building up. They do keep you kind of on the edge the entire time. The way they shoot it and everything is like sort of on the edge.
It's been interesting to see how this has kind of evolved, because it's almost like a show that would be like a 24 episode season of like a network TV show.
Yeah.
It has like a consistent through line, but it's also kind of broken up into these almost mini series within the series. And I feel like that's how this has kind of been. The first 3 episodes, he does something he shouldn't do. He is, those first 3 episodes are him building up to escaping Firax, or Firaxis, whatever it's called, his home planet. And then the episodes 4, 5, and 6 are building up towards that heist. And now it seems like this is sort of the Butch Cassidy in Bolivia season, like season within the season of this, where
Mhm.
he was lounging, and then he was just trying to go to the store. I'm hot because it's sweating, or I'm sweating because it's hot.
Hot.
And now he's in this prison, and you can imagine that next episode there's going to be like a breakout or something like that, some kind of a prison.
Right.
I kind of feel like, because of where the Empire's at, or not the Empire, but the rebellion is at within this season, and how it's a spark and they're trying to build that into kind of a flame. I kind of see the end as being more some type of large scale sabotage mission rather than like another heist.
I mean, that'd be cool.
I think that I feel like it would be redundant to do another heist type thing, but I could
Sure.
definitely see
Sure.
them. There's a huge weapons cache on this planet or whatever, and we're just going to blow it to smithereens. And this is your opportunity. You're either in or you're out on this thing. Look at how they did this to you. And it's kind of it is, and I've said this throughout when talking about the show, is we never really see the Empire like being bad other than blowing up a
Right.
planet. And we're just told that they're the bad guys, right? And this is kind of showing that more insidious side of the emperor or the empire, where it's wrongfully imprisoned, uh ridiculously long sentences. He's sentenced for like 9 years, 6 years, something like that, for just like being a pain in the ass of some city stormtrooper. And we've made this connection a lot, but the empire as it stands bears so many comparisons to some type of a fascist army. I know we've talked about the Nazis, but you can kind of point a finger at like the way things are running in Russia right now,
Right.
with like people who are speaking out against their president. And it's just kind of like, that's what I want to see, is show me why they're bad, show me why they are, show me why everyone hates them. And that's kind of the thing that the Luthen character is trying to bring about, which is we need them to be more ruthless. We need them to be more aggressive. We need them to be more overbearing, because that is what's going to take this spark and turn it into a flame, and then turn it into a full-blown rebellion. When we bring them down on us hard, then the people who aren't always affected by it become affected by it, and that's what's going to start this rebellion full scale. And
Yeah, I think that's right.
it's I would say in its own right, not in the same way of House of Dragons, but I would say in its own right, it's its own kind of political thriller.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
in a different way, I suppose.
No, I think you're right, Brent. I mean, I think that's I look at this show, like I said, kind of keeps you on the edge, and so like that ticking time bomb effect is, I think, what this show does best. It's cool because it's nice to see a Star Wars anything kind of leave you on edge. I don't know if we've
Mhm.
had that. The Mandalorian to some degree, but it's more of an entertainment value than it is keeping you on edge. The show kind of makes you nervous because, like we've said so many times, like we don't really know who's good or bad, really based off of what we see, not what we know. Because like the Empire is bad, but really, I mean, we don't. That's the thing. And so now we're starting to see. Number one, we're starting to see like why they're bad, and then but we also don't know that Andor is good. And I like the anti-hero Taylor Swift reference. I like. I wasn't actually intentionally doing that until I said it, but I do like that kind of thing with him. And like I said, his acting is just so off the
Mhm.
charts that no, this show just like even when it's building up, I'm okay with it. And it's so weird for me to say that because I will for a lot of times with shows like this that aren't your prestige television. Building episodes can sometimes be blah, but this one seems to just do it really well because, like I said, because we know what they can do when they do get to that episode where all the building is laid out.
Yeah, and I think that you have and this was one of the things that was said in the Rings of Power finale is when we talked about the season as a whole, the actors were not carrying the story very well. They weren't doing a good job of selling what they were trying to convey. And I do think that that is something that is a weak spot for Amazon specifically, because they're still kind of fledgling in this whole streaming thing. But that's something that Disney, they're going to attract talent. I mean, we talked about Andy Serkis just popping up in this episode. I mean, Stellan Skarsgård, Andy Serkis, Forrest Whitaker won an Oscar for Best Actor. So these are people who like know what they're doing in terms of acting. And I think that says a lot. And I also think that in this case, this is a very carefully crafted story, and I think it is that way because they know they can't screw this up.
Right.
Because they want to be. I think that there's probably a lot of storytellers out there who are dying to tell a story, who are dying to play in this sandbox. But this is like the proving ground in terms of a show that has nothing to do with the Skywalker saga. The first season of Mandalorian was also kind of that, but then the second season still, and then the Book of Boba Fett still tied so closely to the Skywalker saga, in so much as Luke Skywalker was in both of those series.
Right.
Okay. So this is completely devoid of all that. And I think that this is a proving ground for stories to be told outside of that mainline story. It's a galaxy. It's a whole galaxy to open up and play with. And it's really disheartening that this show hasn't fared super well in terms of viewership, because I'll be quite honest, I think that the only show that has come to Disney Plus that can go toe to toe with this in terms of quality and entertainment is season 1 of The Mandalorian. Everything else falls way underneath. And it's a damn shame that people are hung up on, for whatever reason, not trying to check this show out, because it is very, very, very good. Very good.
It is. 100% agree.
All right. Moving on. Chainsaw Man. In this episode, Denji makes an agreement with Power, who is the fiend who he has partnered with, to assist her in killing a devil who has taken her cat hostage. And the agreement is that if he is able to help her do this, she'll let him cop a feel. So naturally, what happens is she betrays him and feeds him to this giant bat devil, only to find that Denji is in fact not human, at least entirely, and his blood tastes foul. The devil bat has some particular tastes that may or may not fall into the realm of pedophilia. And to punish Power, it eats the cat and then it eats her. But Denji, motivated by nothing more than just a nice set of boobs, goes full on chainsaw man. And after a roaring battle, disembowels the bat devil, and we're left on a cliffhanger to see if he will be able to claim his prize in the next episode. So Chainsaw Man.
What I like about this show, other than just the the hilariousness of this his it's like I just go boobs, but is exactly what's happening, and
Mhm.
yet it does not matter. It's like
Right.
that guy shows up, he big and he's strong, and then
Mhm.
Denji's like, let's try not to do this,
Right.
but here we go. And then just the absolute violence. Like,
Oh
this
yeah.
isn't like, it's not that you just see him cutting things down. It's just when Bat Guy's laying on the ground, you see his guts all hanging out.
Yeah.
And you're like, yep,
Yeah.
this show's hilarious. And like, you know, it just cracks me up. Like, I'm just laughing maniacally watching this. Like, just I have my headphones in at school and I'm watching this at school during a break. And people are probably like, why is he laughing? What kind of funny video? And I'm just watching this ridiculously crazy character. It's like, I don't even know how to like someone comes up with this character, number one. And then it just is just crushing this bat guy that reminded me of like a character from like Ninja Turtle toys more than like an actual Ninja Turtle character. And I was like, I've seen like this character as a toy, maybe not on the
Yeah.
show, but
Right.
it was hilarious.
Wingnut. That's who you're thinking
Wingnut, that's
about.
it.
Yeah.
Wingnut, that's it. Yep.
Um,
Yes, Wingnut.
I had the opportunity yesterday to actually sit unencumbered and just watch this after work because people were elsewhere and I had a little bit of time. And I just uh, I made myself a little popcorn, sat in the recliner, and just kicked my feet up because I knew that this was going to be completely insane. And it was. And I already
It
had my
is just
speech. I had my speech planned if somebody like tried to contact me. I'm de-stressing right now. Well, what are you doing
right.
to de-stress? Well, let me elaborate. I'm watching a show about a man who turns into multiple chainsaws and fights devils who just wants some TNA.
Yep.
And
That's literally it.
it's incredibly violent. It's incredibly gory. It's hypersexualized. And quite frankly, I can't get enough of it. I can't get enough of it because this show's bonkers.
It also is just it's so fast. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's 23
Well,
minutes,
yeah,
but it's
it's
also
like,
just
yeah,
like fast. It's just like
yeah,
plot, setup, action. He turns into a chainsaw, and that's it.
yeah.
That's all you need. Like it's very. They don't waste any time
No.
because like it's great.
And I would
It's great.
say, like, even last week's episode, which was more of a plot, quote unquote, plot building episode, it's funny enough that it can
Right.
carry you from episode to episode where there's not a lot of action. And I thought that I'm curious to see, like, from an actual narrative standpoint, like, what will happen because Power straight up betrayed him. And,
Yeah.
she tricked him into being a sacrifice for this giant bad devil. And I'm curious to see, and obviously, fans of the manga will know what happened, but for me, I'm curious to see, like, after he gets his feel, assuming he gets his feel, is he gonna be like, okay, well, you screwed me over, so now I'm gonna cut you in half with my
Right.
chainsaw arms or my chainsaw nose. Is it a
It does feel
nose? You
like
think
that.
it's a nose? Is that a nose?
I think it's a nose.
I think it's a nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, he learned that the chainsaws can retract also in this
Yeah, that
episode.
was cool.
That's probably a helpful skill moving forward, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
We feel like it's gonna play more. Do we know how many episodes this is?
12, I believe.
12. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
not
good.
enough,
I just no. I
honestly.
would say you can really just keep going.
Well, and I think that
I would be fine.
it is. I don't know enough about, like, the manga in terms of. I'm on the wiki right now. I'm just kind of checking it out. It started in December of 18 and it ran till December 20, and then there's been another run that started July 13 of this year. So it's not that old,
Right.
and there's not I'm trying to see if there's like an issue count. or something like that, because like the reality is, like for Naruto, for example, it's, one episode might be 5 issues of the manga or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And so this doesn't have, it's not that old. So I don't think there's probably not a lot of um a lot to adapt right now. So that's probably
Right.
number one why the season's so short. But this is immensely popular. Looking at, some of these factoids on the wiki. Number four, ranked number four list of best manga 2020, and topped the list in 2021. Freestyle magazine, the best manga of 2022 or 2020. Number 12 series, ranked number 16, ranked number 2 for another publication. Series ranked number 10 in the most wanted anime adaptation, in a poll conducted by Anime Japan. Um, the series ranked number 45 on the 2020 Book of the Year list by Da Vinci Magazine. So this is nothing that, like, it's just immensely popular. It's not
Yeah.
anything to sneeze at. And so I do think, we're gonna get more. And obviously
Good.
that's, we're looking at season 1, 12 episodes, whatever, but I think it's safe to say that this is gonna see multiple seasons, with
Yeah.
how popular it is, not just the anime itself, but also and I think that, like, we've joked about, like, it's insane, and it's like really funny in all the wrong ways, and it's incredibly violent and things like that. But if you really hone in on the animation, especially during the fight scenes, it's very fluid. I
Oh
think it's
yeah.
really high quality animation. Um, the character design is, outside of him and his chainsawness, maybe a little tropey, maybe a little bit tired, but
Sure.
the main, all the things you want are here. And
Agreed.
I think it's probably pretty safe to say that we're going to see more of that. But in the meantime, season 1 continues, and it's probably I think about games in like a particular year. So like one really good example for me is 2018, God of War. The reboot came to PlayStation, and it was probably the best game of the year, but I had way more fun playing Spider-Man. And this is kind of that for me, which is, I know that all the other shows we're watching are quote unquote better than this, but I have more fun watching this than
It's
pretty much
fun.
anything else that we've watched in a long while, as far as TV shows go. So, any closing thoughts on?
No, it's just a fun show. Honestly, it's just like you said, it's very fun. I like it. I got nothing. I got nothing against it. I will say that because I like that it just knows what it is and doesn't try to do anything different.
Boobs.
Boobs.
Media
Got a cop,
recommendations.
got a cop of feel. Got a cop of feel.
Listen, I know where this is going. Keep it brief.
No, I wasn't going anywhere. Just I was gonna say the challenge. Jordan back in the mix. Love that. Love his mullet.
I don't know about the
Let's
mullet.
see, what else have we watched? Well, Abbott Elementary had their Halloween episode, and that was incredible. And I love that show, and I'll just keep talking about Elementary. Quentin Brunson, the writer star of the show, she dressed as James Harden. So she just looked like James Harden, literally shrunken down, and it was amazing. I
Yeah,
posted it in my
I
IG
saw.
today.
Yeah, I did see that.
Incredible. So there's that. Yeah, I mean, the thing I will say is I we watch a lot of prestige TV or what, but I know that Abbott Elementary doesn't necessarily count as prestige TV. It's the best sitcom on network television that I've watched in 8 years, 9 years, easily. So I just really want to talk about that because it's really, really good. And I will also say The Watcher. It's a show on Netflix where like these people buy a house and then all these weird things start happening. Very good. and The Patient, Steve Carell gets taken in by
What's
this
that
guy.
On? Apple? Is that an Apple?
Hulu.
It's a Hulu.
Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah. Also very good. Very quick. They're half-hour episodes, so they're actually they're not even like 25 minutes or something. So
yeah,
very quick. So I'd recommend all those. Other than that, just
didn't
kind of normal for me.
didn't listen to any new music or anything.
You know what? I was gonna bring in Taylor Swift, but like, why do I need? Why do I need to? Oh, you know what? I didn't talk about. I forgot that when we record this, saw the Carly Rae Jepsen concert,
Right?
And that's the thing. So because it's actually been a week ago. That was great because we saw it at the Arlington, and I don't know how to describe it other than it looks like a large high school auditorium. And like, she sells out like the Greek Theater in LA, and then it's like comes to Santa Barbara, which is hilarious. But once the lights got dark and she put on the thing, great. I mean, she did 2 hours straight, no stop, just went the whole 2 hours. She was really good. Taylor Swift, it's Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift. I don't need to promote it more than it's been promoted. Like, I'm gonna like Midnight's. I had some friends that were not as big a fan of it as I am. I just am. I think my favorite song on that, it's switched now. I think initially, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'll give one recommendation of my favorite song. I'm gonna say "Karma" is now my favorite song off of Midnight's. But Carly Rae Jepsen also has a new album out, "The Loneliest Time." It's also really good. So if you're not a Taylor Swift person or you're done with Taylor Swift, just listen to Carly Rae Jepsen because it's honestly, I would say it's the opposite version of pop. Hers is like, I'm sad and I need to dance. Taylor Swift's I'm sad and I need to be sad. And so that's different versions of the same sadness. But people are, that. What about you, Brenton? Any new music?
No, I got nothing this week.
Did you mention Mike Eagle?
Yeah,
on
last
the pod?
week.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
last week. Okay, good.
I don't have it. It's a long name, and I don't have it in front of me. But yeah, I opened Mike Eagle's new album. I've been listening to. I still haven't gotten to the Chili Peppers. And it's been a busy week for me.
Sure.
I mean, usually I'm on top of things, but I literally finished Andor 5 minutes before we went on. So it's just been, stuff. So
I'm looking forward to reading books again when I have time off. That'll be fun.
I don't know. I don't know how to read. The BXG podcast publishes every Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. Hawaiian.
Aloha.
On podcast services around the globe: Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, etc., etc., etc. You can catch us over on our social medias, Instagram at BXG Prods, at GT Phils, out Alpha Donut Guy, Twitter at BXG Prods, at whatever the fuck, at Alpha Donut Guy, at GT Filson. YouTube channel, we're getting close to that subscriber point for our first giveaway, so make sure that you have hit the like and subscribe and be a friend, tell a friend, make sure your thing is
you know what, tell people you just don't know too. Like, you go and get your food from like a restaurant and you just tell write on your check with the tip, the BXG podcast.
There you go. Just do that.
What's stopping you? I'll do that now. I haven't been doing it. I'll do it now.
Maybe you should.
Doesn't hurt.
Why not? Take care, friends. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful Veterans Day next week.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's actually.
Enjoy your Halloween.
enjoy your Halloween.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Are you dressing up? I'll be dressing up.
Are you dressing up? What are you dressing up as?
Should I reveal it, or should it be a surprise?
It's up to you.
Linguini from Ratatouille, the chef.
Is that the chef? Okay.
And then Janie's dressing up as Colette. We have little stuff, Remy and Attil, and we'll be walking around Santa Barbara with that. And then I'm going to school dressed as him. And then Janie's dressing up as the Sunmain Raisin Girl for school. So
That sun-made raisin girl. I have to think about what that looks like, but I
It's
know
not
who it is.
racist, just for anybody thinking about, because all the other women characters on things are a little bit racist or whatever. So sun-made
Like
raisin
what?
girl, white as rice.
Like what?
She just makes raisins.
She
Aunt
just makes
Jemima.
racists.
No,
Aunt Jemima.
like that was other people. I can't think of all of them now. The Land O'Lakes. Land O'Lakes.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
that's
it's bad.
it's
Those
a
were a
little
little
rough.
bad.
Is Aunt Jemima still a
But
thing?
no,
No, they got rid of her.
they got rid of that.
Okay, fair enough. Take care. Thanks for
Oh yeah,
watching.
Morton Salt's not racist. Morton Salt's not racist. Janie, pull it. That's not racist. That is still good.
That's the
There's a little
umbrella girl with the umbrella.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's still solid.
Yeah,
Salt's white.
it is. In
So it'd be
fact,
weird to like so
yeah.
good. You know what? Good on you companies for knowing 100 years ago not to screw things up.
Right. And fuck that Christopher Columbus.
And also, have you ever seen Will Ferrell dressed as Little Debbie on, I forget which Tonight Show it was, but he did that. Look it up some point.
Let's see here.
You'll be in for an absolute
Ferrell
treat.
Little,
one of the funniest moments, especially since I saw it as it was happening. So it wasn't like the internet spoiled it.
Oh my. It's Fallon. Yeah,
it's Fallon. Okay. Back when I used to stay up and watch all these, I remember just staying up, and then he came out in that, and I'm just dead. I just died for 10 minutes because he's dressed up as Little Debbie.
Yeah, that's fun. That is.
And the interview is amazing. So
what was he on for?
Like, I couldn't even tell you.
What was he promoting?
I don't even remember. I just remember it being like it was one of those interviews where he was there to promote something. Don't think he ever talked about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Here you go. Ooh, I'll tell you what, man.
Like the old Letterman interviews. That's how the old Letterman interviews used to be. People would come on, wouldn't even promote their movie. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's kind of blurry.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Still.
There it is.
You get the gist.
I could go for a Little Debbie right now, actually.
Favorite Little Debbie?
Oh man. Creamfield cupcake.
Cosmic brownie.
Oh yeah. Back up. Cosmic brownies. That's the one. Yeah, I guess I didn't know that was Little Debbie. That's definitely number one with a silver bullet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cosmic brownies the shit. The absolute. It's the shit.
We should do a cosmic brownie review just so we can eat it.
Fine with that.
Let's do it.
I'll go to Country Fair right now and get one. Right now. They don't close for another 45 minutes. I can be back in 10.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right, let's get out of here.
Thanks for watching,
everybody.
Thanks for listening. Enjoy your Halloween.
Travis.
What?
Just had to turn it.
All right.